How has the pandemic changed your life?
My life didn't really change personally, but for work, it was super stressful. Things were constantly changing in the beginning because no one knew what was happening. Like all our protocols, our PPE were changing like hourly, weekly. There was new testing that we were doing. Like first it was throat swabs, then the nose swabs, and then they switched to the throat swabs. And then you had to do throat and nose at the same time. So it was pretty stressful work-wise, but in my personal life, it was pretty much the same besides not seeing my family.
It's changed it quite a bit. For the first wave, I was completely isolating. I was only leaving my home to go to work. I actually work in a group home with a vulnerable population. So it's been really hard with the limitations, like they can't see their family. You're trying to keep spirits up, but it's just, there's no real end in sight.
It's very frustrating because the mask, you can't really connect with people on a deeper level. You can't really read the room. You can't read their expressions. So I just find in stores and places, I'm a very chatty person, but I don't, because it's just hard to chat when you don't know what's going on behind the mask. But overall, we're actually coping pretty well.
I loved entertainment, so concerts and stand-up comedians and those kinds of things, and they just aren't happening anymore.
I'm a people person and I'm a hugger, and everywhere I go and people I see, people want a prop. They do this hand gesture. And I'm a hugger. I just want to give people hugs, and I know I can't anymore.
I haven't been able to see my family. That's been a great change in my life. And I haven't been able to work as I'm a hairdresser. So that's changed my life quite a bit. But not seeing my family, my grandchildren, that's been a major, major loss in my life.
No toilet paper for a while at the beginning. But, slowly but surely, I think everybody's getting their feet and kind of getting used to the, wearing a mask all the time kind of thing. So for me, not really affected too much, but I feel really sorry for a lot of families out there. They've really been affected. Job losses, what you do with the kids and so forth. So I'm one of the lucky ones.
I just moved here right before, so I was kind of in the middle of a career change before. So I was in the hospitality industry before this. I'd imagine that if I was still in that line of work, it would have affected me a lot more. Although I'm in kind of the tech industry now, so I'm working from home. So that shift kind of happened naturally, but the whole aspect of not being able to meet up with my friends, to socialize, I think it's a little bit silly that, I can't have two of my friends over, but I can go sit at a mall at a food court. So that aspect of it is kind of what's affected me the most, I think, at the moment.
I definitely feel like it's kind of made things a bit more hectic, a little bit more uncertain, you could say.
Well, I'm at home a lot now because I can't work anymore because my field because I was in the the music event field, I would set up stages and stuff. So I'm at home a lot now. The future's really uncertain for that because we don't know when the quarantine's going to end. So very uncertain and a little bit depressing.
Slowed it down, for sure. Made me reevaluate exactly what was important or not, what was irrelevant, what was superficial, and kind of zoning in on what I wanted to do next and what kind of life I wanted to live.
Change the way I spend time with family, I'll put it that way. First things first, value families a lot more, and then how much time I spent with friends and how much that meant to me, and then the pandemic kind of stopped that. So now we're finding different ways to connect.
The pandemic has changed my life because I'm from Waterloo, and so I haven't been able to go home because I have a family member who's immunocompromised. So it's definitely been a lot more isolating than I initially thought. But it's just getting used to doing schooling online and kind of being away from my family for a while.
I don't think it has that much, to be honest. No, I don't think, aside from things are just not as convenient. I guess that would be, so aside from that, I'm lucky enough to have good work, so I'm not really affected.
In some ways it's changed for the better, but at the same time it can definitely be super stressful because everything's online and you still have deadlines, but then you have to be concerned about checking in with your family and friends to make sure they're still safe. So higher stress, but in some ways it's been good.
I'm living a lot smaller but a lot greener. I don't really go outside of this community because this is where I live, this is where I work. I'm not driving anywhere. I'm consuming a lot less in terms of I'm just consuming a lot less, you know. I just don't want to go to stores. I just don't want to be around people too much at the moment.